Hi there, everybody. Welcome back to Prestige Auctions. This is the All Things Auctions podcast, episode 6. Episode 6 already. Can you believe that?
Yeah.
You can, can't you?
Yeah.
I've got a gift for you.
No. Something good?
A brand new pair of gloves.
Oh, wow.
These are a bit similar to Trigger's shovel, right? We're just going to replace the top of that. There you go, new pair of gloves.
Fantastic. So, I'll have a sniff.
They're gonna smell rubbery.
I love that new rubber smell.
Let's have a sniff.
Oh, wow. It's fresh.
Look at that, eh? Look at that. The gloves of a working man. They look a lot smaller.
They do, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, they're man's gloves, aren't they?
They'll fall straight off.
They won't. Are they too big?
They're massive, them.
They're XL.
They are a
They're
bit
for
big.
people with long fingers, like me.
Pianists.
Something like that.
They're massive.
They're great. They grip.
I could put them ones underneath.
Okay.
And then the ones on top.
You've got new gloves. That's great. Anyway.
Fantastic.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the podcast. And this week we've got a few things to talk about. Well, of course, you all know that we've actually filmed these in advance because of the way we are at the moment. But I can tell you that as you're watching this, we are only 3 days from reopening Prestige Auctions and all of the fantastic changes that will have happened by then, won't they, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope. We're hoping that flat 4 isn't in the storage area and stuff like that, and everything will be good. But we are looking forward to getting back. Hope you've all had a great break, actually, from the auction, and hope you've been all selling lots and lots of stuff and making yourselves a few quid, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, ready to buy some more.
Do you think you'll have sold loads of stuff, or do you think you'd have been here too often, too much?
I am going to put one of my outlets on holiday settings.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just doing too well. I won't have the time to wrap it up.
Well, I think by then, Chris, obviously you may have sold out of the challenge stuff. And of course, the challenge is going to be quite interesting because, all being well, we'll have sold most of our stuff by that point. And I think what we need to do is any stuff that we don't sell, we can find a little storage area upstairs somewhere and start putting all the stuff away. And then come the spring, we'll do a boot sale. Because remember, we've got 1 year to do this challenge, 1 whole year.
But I'm going to make some of mine into a piece of artwork that's not sold.
Hey, really?
I've got a plan for it.
Well, I think that when we do, listen, everybody, whether you are local to Grimsby and Cleethorpes or not, but when we do our boot sale, maybe you want to come down and support us that day. That will be quite a good laugh. We're going to do all sorts that we can without taking up too much time and money to get on this challenge. So if you don't know anything about the challenge, me and Chris both started with a £20 note each. We've taken that £20 note back, or we should have done by the time this is aired, and we are going to see if we can make enough money to pay for 4 people to go on a Caribbean cruise within a year, just by a little bit of buying and selling. Now, it may be destination Cleethorpes, it may be destination Barbados, but we don't know yet. But we're going to give it our all, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be some fun along the way, isn't it? We are going to go, literally, we've been discussing it this week, we are literally going to go around the country doing all sorts of stuff. There's loads that we want to try, loads of stuff. So we will be traveling at some point down south. So maybe some of you people in YouTube land would like to sell us something that we can maybe resell and make a few quid. So if
We've
anybody,
got to go in a classic car.
We're not going in a classic car. We're going in a modern car that doesn't have to be on the back of a low loader.
Maybe we should get an old car.
You have one.
But it don't work.
Chris is very good at fixing things, apparently. Hang on, he's in charge of our project here, wasn't it? Can't get the car to go. So, but we will be doing all sorts of bit different things, and we will be looking for people to get involved. And we may even do something one week where some of the stuff we've got, we might even try and sell it to you guys online on the live.
Yeah, all right.
That'd be quite good fun, wouldn't it?
Will it be any used makeup?
Well, we could have some of the used makeup, because the used makeup is, I don't know where people get off on this, right? So I bet you're one of these people that only wear the boxer shorts one day. Only kidding. Did you see that?
There's a face at the window. We have to mention. It's gone.
Who was it? Which face was it?
Watch the window.
Would you like to come in just for a second? No, do come in. Do come in. Get involved, Lisa. Don't just stand out there. It's not like you to stand out there and not in the limelight. Just because you sold more mugs than me. Oh, no, she's all right.
Is it 4-1?
We will get Lisa on a podcast, won't we?
Yeah.
I think we need to, because we can just take the mickey out of her. Mind you, she gives as good as she gets, doesn't she?
It could be quite hard, that.
Yeah, it could be. Anyway, listen. As I say, we're going to be back at the auction next week. We've talked about the challenge, but we're going to keep this one a little bit shorter this week because we are running out of time with stuff that we've got to do today. I've got a sneak peek to do and everything. Chris, what I want to talk about this week, a bit of a surprise to you this one, I want to talk about retirement.
I'm not going to retire.
Neither am I. And that's why I want to talk about it. And this one I want to talk about it to you guys. Now, people that want to retire obviously don't like the job. Would you agree?
Yeah, if you're that eager to finish.
How many people...
counting down to the day, aren't they?
I've worked in a normal job. I worked in a factory for years and years, and through different positions, from labourer right through to manager, and I watched so many people, sadly, some nice, good people as well, good, honest workers, within a year of them retiring, dead, gone.
Come out of routine.
And then I watched something really interesting on YouTube the other week, and about it's this woman. And I found it fascinating to the point that I even showed Lisa it, where she was saying, she was with a panel of people doing her own podcast and saying, when you retire, how many years do you get out of your retirement on average? Do you know what the average is?
You'd like to think it's about 20, wouldn't you?
You'd like to think it's about 20 years. The actual average is 8 years from retirement.
Wow.
So you work all these years, year on year on year on year, to put all this money away into your pension and all the rest of it, to potentially...
Probably going without things.
Yeah, to potentially get 8 years out of it. Now, why do I want to talk about this? Well, because, see, I'm of the ilk, I don't ever want to retire. Why would I want to retire from something that I love? I love this industry. I love the kind of people that are in this industry. I love everything about buying and selling and auctions and all the rest of it. Why would I want to retire from that? And the reason I'm saying that is dealers don't retire, do they? Have you noticed?
No.
They just keep
They don't
going.
live forever, though.
No, but they work forever.
Oh, I'm coming back to Barry again.
Well, yeah.
I mean, absolute legend.
How old was Barry? Barry?
Is Barry. He's got to be mid-80s, isn't he?
And he's never stopped, has he?
No. It's just living for the next deal.
But you see this all the time, everyone. In the auction rooms, a lot of the dealers, there are young dealers, middle-aged dealers, and there are always old dealers.
Yeah.
And it's because, and I've known a lot of dealers in the industry over the years that have become very wealthy, to be fair, but they still never stop.
Yeah.
And I think the question is, many people, if you're sat at home now watching this thinking, well, I can't wait to retire. I think the only people that want to retire are the people that don't enjoy what they're doing. Or because, and I'll go back to this podcast that I was watching with this woman. So basically what she was saying was, for years and years and years, you work and work and work and work. You work 9 to 5, 6 to 2, 2 to 10, weekends, whatever you do, you work all these hours. You put your money away into your pension. All of a sudden, that last day of work, little spread, few sandwiches, all your workmates, we'll come back to that in a second, workmates, not friends. They all carry on going back to work the next day, and all of a sudden, there you are, stood there. Okay, this is great. Right, love, we're going on a cruise. So if you go for 2 weeks, they probably did a challenge. So you go off for 2 weeks and do your cruise. And then when you get back off your cruise, you go, right, okay, been meaning to sort that shed out for ages. Right, so that's a couple of days. And then I'll tell you what, I'm going to redo the garden. 3 months in, you're done.
You've
do you
done
do?
everything.
What do you do then? This is what this woman was saying. What do you do then? And she came down to in the end that the reason so many people give up or pass away or whatever after they've retired is because they've got no purpose in life anymore.
Die of boredom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And that's why I think there are so many old dealers in the auction stroke reselling industry, because they love what they do.
Well, you're cruising as well by that point, aren't you?
Yeah.
You can call back to that stuff that we're on about. Is the bottom of the fodders down there that you hadn't touched for years.
Yeah. And you're back to it.
You don't have to buy every week, do you? You can just work your way through all the stuff that you've accumulated.
We had the pleasure, and I will say the pleasure, of clearing a property in Cleethorpes a couple of years ago. Of somebody I was very, very proud to call a friend of mine, who was a coin dealer. I'm not going to mention his name. People will know if they know. If they don't need to. But an old coin dealer in the town who'd been going to the auctions. We found receipts going right back into the 70s and before. So he'd been in the trade a very, very long time. He was like the knowledge when it came to coins and medals and stuff like that. And you know, the thing was with this guy was he would always help the younger ones. If you ever went to him and said, I need a bit of help with this, can you help me? He would take the time to explain it, tell you why to buy it, why not to buy it, and all this, which you don't very often find in dealers, to be fair. Most of them keep it all to
don't
themselves.
Want to give secrets away, do you?
No. And this guy was really like that. And when we got, he used to, when we opened up Prestige, he used to come here every week. In fact, your sister has got his number.
Oh.
Yeah, your sister. Well, as I said, I would be very choosy who I gave his number to, and I like Jen. So we gave that number to Jen. And you know what? He was coming here all the time. And then of course, the dreaded bloody COVID hit. We didn't see him. He got rather unwell. Not through COVID, might I add. And then sadly, we lost him. And he was a really nice guy. And I'm still proud. If you look up on top of the cabinet in there, he had a massive, massive picture in the hangar at Hemsworth for years and years and years. He stood at Hemsworth for donkey's years. And I've still got the sign of his that was outside the finger saying coins and all the rest of it.
Right.
I've still got it up in the auction room here.
That's where that's from.
Yeah, as my tribute to a friend, if you like.
Yeah.
And but he carried on dealing and dealing and dealing till it was his time to not deal anymore. But we got to clear his property, and my God, if there was ever an instance of what you've just talked about there about the layers, it was this house. There was well over a ton of coins. And he maybe bought coins from one of the big coin dealer places in the late 70s, early 80s that weren't worth a lot.
Yeah.
But by the time we found them, because it was pushed so far back, they were worth money.
40, 50 years later.
Yeah, and it was a pleasure to do.
Do you think it'll happen like that with the Baron Knights albums?
Well, there is a story actually that if you can find a Baron Knights album that's not signed, it's worth a fortune.
True, that, isn't it? Every time you get one.
But do you know why that is? Do you understand the reason of why that is like that?
They've probably spent a lot of time with their fans, haven't they?
That it was well known that groups through the sort of the 70s, early 80s, and all the rest of it, long before the days of where we are now, they used to, if they did somewhere like the Pier Pavilion at Cleethorpes or Bunny's Place or whatever, afterwards they would go into the bar.
Yeah.
And sell their records, or somebody would sell the records, and people would go up and go, "Well, can you get the band to sign the record for me?" Yeah, get us a pint in then, and I'll get them to sign it. And of course, the fan had just automatically, so never paid for the drinks.
Yeah.
Well done, Baron Knights.
I've got a fantastic book I got from the auction a couple of months back in a big job lot of ephemera and books I bought from the Fiesta nightclub in Sheffield.
And you have mentioned this to me. I've never heard of the Fiesta nightclub.
It's superb. It's great big. Is it A2, the bigger sizes?
Yeah. It's A3.
A3, yeah. And it's from all the headline acts, 70s, and Tony Christie's Grumbleweeds and stuff and things like that.
Grumbleweeds, good God.
And there's all the pictures of them coming out and talking to all the punters there. We're all sharing a chicken in a basket meal up the front.
Chicken in a basket. You ever watched Life on Mars?
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it is.
And because it takes you back to a time that, I mean, the writers, whoever wrote Life on Mars, God, it's so accurate to me. Like when he said, oh, when they was running the pub, when the police was running the pub, and he mentioned about doing chicken in a basket. He went, in a basket? And of course, chicken in a basket became a big thing, sort of probably the early 80s, something like that, I would have thought.
Yeah.
But back to this, do you know what's funny you should mention stuff like that, like the Baron Knights and things, because I think old dealers are very similar to old performers. They keep going. Meatloaf, for instance. By chance, me and Chris, we only found this out recently. We both went to the same Meatloaf concert at Sheffield some years ago when he hobbled onto the stage. I mean, Meatloaf, a fantastic artist, but he carried on going till the end, didn't he?
Clinging onto that speaker.
But you know, and I think this thing about having purpose in your life, and the reason why you might say, why are we talking about this? Well, it's quite simple, because we're continuously talking about why you should get into reselling, and this is one of them reasons. Because if you get into reselling, you never have to retire from it. Okay, some companies will force you to retire at a certain age, or they'll kind of push you out, shall I say, because they can't really force you these days.
I'm not lifting fridges through there when I'm 70.
No, and that's it. So you need to have something else done.
I need to get a bit better at what I'm doing. There's a good incentive to get better now, isn't there?
Yeah, no fridge fights anymore. Not in your 70s, because you'd lose a lot more then. But that's the point. If you get into reselling, you never have to retire, and you've always got that bit of purpose in your life, because you can go out, you can look for things, you can find things, and you know you can and sell them. And you know what? And that comes back to the very, very first podcast on it, the turning £5 into £50, £50 into 500, 500 into 5,000, and so on. And we all know that if you listen to the press at the moment, and pretty much by the time this podcast goes out,
pretty much spot on that time, isn't it?
It's going to be budget time,
yeah.
And I'm reading in one of the papers today that they were going to be attacking pensions and everything else, and which I think is absolutely damn right disgusting, if I'm honest. Why we're as a country getting taxed on everything that we ever earn, and then taxed when we're trying to claim it back a little bit, and then taxed when we die. Well, thanks very much, the government. That's really good of you.
As a pensioner, your options of work have narrowed down quite a bit, aren't they?
Well, they are.
But if you sold online as a pensioner.
No, I don't think anyone is ever too old to learn this industry.
No, but it's something you can do with all physicalities, isn't it? It's
one of the best dealers that I know, the best in terms of knowledge, used to be a school teacher. Very, very clever man. He would have you believe he's not a clever man, but he is an extremely clever man. I would give my right arm to be close to his knowledge. He's that clever, and instantly makes a lot of money out of this business. Why? Because you've got to have a good memory in this business.
Yeah.
You've got to remember what stamps are, what codes are, what hallmarks are, and all the rest of it. But you don't have to. You can just focus on one area.
Yeah, you can specialise in a certain subject.
You sort of specialise in seahorses and things, don't you? Singer sewing machines.
Are we having a cuppa?
Oh, yeah. We'll have a coffee, please. Yeah. So just so you see here, this is Tom walking in with coffee for us. How good is that? Thanks ever so much, Tom.
No, I'll stick with my Coke. Cheers, mate.
Much appreciated. That's pretty good, that, isn't it? Yeah. I work with absolute legends. Obviously, Tom was thinking about me at that point. But I think whatever level you're at, you could maybe think to yourself, well, I would suggest to anybody that wants to get into a bit of buying and selling, and just to make a few extra quid, not necessarily make a living from it, just a little bit of extra, is first and foremost stick to something that you know. If you're a train enthusiast and you like OO gauge, double O gauge, double O gauge trains and stuff like that, then go and buy some collections up. Keep the ones that you want, and then sell the rest. Learn that trend of. The one thing that I used to love doing at auctions all the time is if there's something I wanted for myself and it was part of a job lot, my aim would always be to buy the job lot, sell everything to get my money back for the item that I bought, so it cost me nothing.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll try and tax that soon.
Well, I've heard that they're going to try and do some tax on second-hand items. I don't know if that's true or not.
I have no idea. I think it's about time they just... I think it's just... I don't want to get political on a podcast, but I think it's just about time that the governments, whichever party it is, got their job right. But instead of having to punish us all the time.
Buying and selling second-hand items is the ultimate green way to do things, isn't it?
It is, because
it should be encouraged more than anything.
I say this on every quote that I go on. Reselling is the best form of recycling.
Yeah.
Because if you get given something and it's not really your cup of tea, you take it out of politeness, then you dispose of it. Okay, if you have to go and buy something, you are buying it because you want it.
Yeah.
End of. So you buy the item, you walk away with it, and you use it. So, and that keeps the item going. It keeps the cycle going. But in terms of retirement, if for you retiring is the be all and end all, then great. I'm with you. Go and do. If you've got enough to fill the 40 hours a week that you used to work.
Not golf. That don't count.
If you've got enough to fishing.
But not fishing, not golf.
But do you know what? I think you could only do that so much before you got bored, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Of doing the same old thing.
Like a day.
And I think this is the thing. If you can fill your time, remember, at this moment in time, you work 40 hours a week. Then you've got maybe your weekends off if you're lucky. If you've got your weekends off and then your evenings, that's your spare time now. All of a sudden, you've got the weekends and the evenings plus the other 40 hours to fill. And I think that, you can either fill that with something exciting, or you can just sit and vegetate, which is what a lot of people I think do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And we go back to what I said earlier about workmate. Okay, we all like to think when we're in jobs that the people that are around you are your friends. In lucky situations, I think people do become your friends. I think we've become friends over the years rather than just acquaintances. But so many people think the people that they work around are their friends, but once they finish work, they never see them again.
No.
Well, that's not a friend, is it?
No, it just stops.
It just stops. And that camaraderie and the social aspect of what work brings to most people is going to be a big missing part of your life once you retire. That social aspect, the having a laugh with the lads, I mean,
I think that's why a lot of people quite enjoy coming here on a Saturday, which is why we shouldn't do it online.
Because this room's full, isn't it?
Yeah.
We did a specialist sale a little while ago now when this went out. It was actually last Wednesday because we were filming in advance again. But when we did that specialist sale, on average, there were 6 people in the room.
Yeah.
6 people. 200 sat in the living rooms at home, which, is all right for the people that can't be bothered to come out. But when you get that buzz feeling of the auction room on a Saturday when everybody's in, they're all talking to each other, they're buying each other gifts, they're getting coffees from the coffee shop and, and buying each other drinks, and the social aspects and friendships have been formed out of that, from people that they've got a mutual interest in buying and selling or just going to an auction. Look at Dave and Maureen. Dave and Maureen are probably the best example we've got of an older couple that, they go away on the odd sort of coach holiday and stuff like that. But they are here first thing on a Saturday morning. I don't leave till into the afternoon, and they love the auction.
Do you know what we should do? We should get them their own sofa.
Do you think?
I know Lisa won't let us because we stacked
Never
out
got
for
any
space. But they should have their own sofa now. What about on the mezzanine?
Yeah.
Right? Because not that we haven't got enough to do next week. Why don't we make like a royal box?
A royal box.
An elevated box.
For Dave and Maureen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the way Dave acts some weeks, it'd be like the two old boys in the Muppet Show, wouldn't it?
Is it Waldorf? Is that what they called it?
Dave would be insulting Maureen just to try and get a laugh. But no, they're a perfect example, aren't they, of what this business has become about, and that sort of part of your life that if you're not careful, you will lose when you retire. If you're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some people are lucky; they build massive friendships and bonds with people over the years in the jobs that they do. But not everybody does. I know that. I worked at Young's for 23 and a half years, and I don't really see anybody from there now.
A lot of the jobs now are not the same physical jobs that they used to be. There's not the manufacturing base, is there? So
no.
Coal miners used to have social clubs after work and things, and steel workers.
The factories did, didn't they? There was the Findus Club and the Ross Club in town and that.
Yeah, most of the physical jobs had life outside work, but they ran all the clubs and trips, all the trips to seaside at the weekends.
And the big firms would put on their buses and tickets to the pantomime every year and stuff. And we've lost all that in society, which I always think is a real shame. When I was at Bluecrest, I actually tried to bring that back. We actually set up a social committee, and the social committee was running really, really well. Was making money, which was good because we had a social fund. And do you know what happened? I'll tell you the truth. I don't mind now. When we became the new business of Young's, when it was taken over, it got smashed to bits by HR.
Was that a UK company that took it over?
It was an investment company and all the rest of it that merged the two companies together, Bluecrest and Young's. And it was a real shame because basically everything we tried to do with the social committee, the head of HR at the time just said, you can't do this, you can't do that. They even went as far as saying that if anybody does anything wrong on a night out that's organised by you, they'll be in for disciplinary.
Oh, imagine that here.
and I basically turned around to this particular lady at the time and I said, so basically you want us to pack it up then? And she went, oh, we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a shame. The social aspect, the nights out we used to do and everything was great. The old HR manager at Bluecrest was a woman called Jill, and she was lovely. She used to know the names of everybody. The modern people didn't, and I found that quite a shame. Hello, Lisa. Do come in.
No, you're all right. I'm just messaging Chris.
So anyway, we have
it's a treat.
You what?
It's a treat.
Oh, she's doing treats.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Come on, we're live at the moment. What are you doing?
Live.
Is that a treat?
That's your little treat.
Oh, thank you very much.
The kids every now and again.
Where's mine?
No, you don't get one.
Why?
You don't get paid.
Every so often, I treat the kids to the tea.
So how come I haven't been paid yet? 8 years. I'm sick of this. Get out.
I just said to the kids, I went, here's your final
I'll have a
treat
paella with that.
before I go on my holidays. Treat the kids.
Right, so sorry everybody for that interruption.
That's my paella and a pint tonight.
Lisa there. But,
I've got my new gloves.
You got new gloves. You got a tenner off Lisa.
Yeah.
What more can you ask for?
I might retire early.
You won't retire. You're like me. You'll just keep going until the day you drop. Because there's always in this industry, this buying and selling, when it gets to you, if it gets to you, there's always a new challenge. Every day there's a new challenge. You see something in the auction room and You look at it all week. I know I'm not going to mention what it was, but you see it the other week. You see a box, didn't you, that you really wanted to buy, and I bet it got to you, didn't it?
Yeah, I started getting butterflies as it were coming up.
Yeah, it got to you through the week.
Yeah.
I've been there. I remember I'm the person that bought a tin of buttons and things out of the other auction room in the town for £26 and sold them for close to 16 grand. True story. So at the end
So
of the
how
day,
come you can't turn that makeup then into?
look, I'm having. I'll tell you now, mate. I will sell everything in that box.
I'm sure you will.
Everything.
You put it back in the auction.
Correct. there is always an answer. And do you know what? Just a quick tip for everybody. I know somebody put thank you for the tip about the scales on the comments last week.
Oh, it was
about taking the pictures. I thought, it's a good tip. We are trying to share tips with you. Here's a very, very good tip for you all. If you buy something and you want to sell it, make yourself one aim every time. Make that aim to break even. That has got to be your aim all the time. Anything you can make above that is a bonus. Don't try and make a loss. That's what I do. Try to go for the break even. If you continuously break even, every time you sell something, you'll learn something.
Yeah.
And I think there is probably that to be said as well in terms of when you make a loss. I think you learn more from losing than you do from gaining, because it hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah. But you accumulate in this game, don't you?
Yeah.
Things, they snowball.
How many items have you bought in the past where you've like, this can do really well and it finishes at 99 pence on eBay or something?
I've had something recently. I can't remember what it was, but it was a massive disappointment. I'm just glad it weren't that 8-foot double teak unit that.
Well, there's another one, isn't there? Lisa, you watch this one go. It's got 47 watches on it, yeah? It gets to the last 3 seconds, nothing. And you're just absolutely devastated. But listen, everybody, keep the faith, because that's what this is all about. If you want to retire, then that's your choice. That's somebody's aim. It's most people's aim. It's not mine and Chris's, I don't think.
No.
Retiring is for people that don't want to work anymore. But if you do something that you love, and what somebody once said to me many years ago is very, very true. If you find something you'll love, you will never work again. And that's how I feel every single day.
It's not work, is it?
It don't feel like work. It feels like you're enjoying yourself and learning something all the time. And you know what? You can make some real money at this business, some real money.
Then it's addictive.
Yeah. And it does get addictive. Yeah. But do you know what? There is more ways to earn money and to go into retirement and all the rest of it than just hoping that there'll be a state pension. Listen, everybody, thank you ever so much for watching Prestige Auctions. We will be back again next week with another fantastic episode. Chris is going off to spend his £10 and do something with his new gloves. Anyway, it's been nice talking to you all again. And anyway, for now, say goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye, Chris.
And we'll see you all again very soon at the auction.